Greetings, dear viewers. We're happy to welcome you at the international discussion dedicated to the International All Peoples Forum, Global Crisis, We Are People, We Want to Live. This event took place last Saturday on May 7th, and it has enormous importance for the entire humanity because it paved the foundation for our future. On this forum, people from all over the world voiced the truth about all the pressing issues of the present day, all the problems that we face as a humankind, and the solution, which is very, very important to know for all, because it will change the destinies of billions of people. This event was initiated and implemented on a volunteer basis by people's effort from 180 countries on the Creative Society platform.
This monumental for humanity event was interpreted into 100 languages of the world. It was broadcast around the world on tens of thousands of channels on social and media platforms. Therefore, now, as never before, it is important for all of us, for all who understand how serious everything is, do everything we can, everything possible and impossible that really depends on us, in order to share this forum with every single person in the world. And this is why we are continuing to discuss all these topics that we were raised on this forum with our honored guest. And I'm happy to introduce you today, David, a teacher of music and geography from Germany, Dr. Jeffrey Long, MD, radiation oncologist, best-selling author, Evidence of the Afterlife, Sandeep Nath, Indian founder of RENEWALism, Inner Power, Energy and Mindfulness coach, and Rinat, radiologist and physician from Kazakhstan. Welcome, dear guests. Let's start with a short video that will give us a good overview about the forum.
Humanity's last war is already underway. The enemy is destroying everyone in its path.
At first, I thought it was a bomb explosion.
It's scary. It's very scary.
Honestly thought that I was going to die.
What was happening was like a nightmare. Everything was destroyed.
I couldn't stand to see the corpse of a mother hugging her burnt child.
My heart is breaking with pain.
Our enemy is climate.
Everything was destroyed.
There was no warning, no advice, nothing.
When I went out, I saw something that looked like a tsunami.
My father died right under our rubbled house. If only I could have helped him. I thought my family and I would die because the wind and the rain were unbelievably strong.
I'm looking for my wife and I need her.
I want to be strong, but I can't hold back my tears.
When we realized that the water had invaded the house, we only had time to get people out of the house.
There was no time to grab anything, and I lost everything.
And these are just its first attacks. It won't agree on humanitarian corridors. It won't sign a peace agreement. It doesn't need time to regroup, and it won't run out of missiles. With each new attack, the enemy only gets stronger. What can we oppose against this enemy? Can we, humans, survive this war? If meanwhile, instead of carrying out planetary mobilization and creating a united front, we are killing each other.
I don't want to die. I want it all to be over as soon as possible. Suddenly the windows started shaking, and with the second one, everything exploded. They were actually burnt alive.
The second bomb dropped.
We're killing the planet. That is our only home. We are investing billions of dollars in pseudoscience and the business of a few. Instead of providing for life to billions, we are being artificially divided. We've been inculcated with hatred for one another, and all for the power of a few over the billions over us. But before the climate, everyone is equal. Everyone will lie in one mass grave unless we rally our strength today and stand united against the common enemy. Yes, it's hard, but we must do so if we want to survive. For we are people. We want to live.
Dear guest, thank you so much for joining us today. So then thank you so much for being a part of All Human Project, the Creative Society Project. It's very important for all of us to really stay together and to inform people about the possibility that we as a humanity have right now. And that's why that was the motivation for people from 180 countries to organize this enormous forum, to collect all the information, to put it together in the way that every single person on earth will be able to understand the serious condition, the serious circumstances that we have right now, and of course, the solution. Because without knowing and understanding that we have a way out, we will not be able to choose and to start to act and go in the right direction and save our entire civilization. And our first question, I would like to ask Rinat. Rinat, could you please share your impression about this forum?
Да, добрый день, дорогие друзья. Для меня большая честь быть сегодня.
I am honored to be at this round table, to be with you today. While watching the forum, watching the videos, the speeches of the speakers, the essence of the format of society in which we all live now, the consumerist format, the format in which there are wars, slavery, people are dying of hunger and thirst. I have a legitimate question. With all of our technology, why is there such a thing as hunger and thirst on our planet? They claim millions of human lives every year. Most of them are children's lives. After all, we have technologies that can completely win them and forget about them forever. And the forum clearly showed that they won't be applied in the consumerist format. Because the main thing there is profit. And the development of technologies which will allow all of us to be healthy, to have no need in pure water, to solve the problem of hunger are simply not economically justified. I have a video in front of my eyes about starvation that showed how huge amounts of food, are simply thrown away in a garbage dump while people die of hunger, children die of starvation. Isn't this a beastly format in which money profit is more valuable than human life? Why is this even possible? We are all human beings. A video about refugees was shown at the forum. They are people who have no shelter. They sleep on the streets. We have programs that protect animals and don't allow them to be mistreated. And what about people? Is it possible to treat people in such a way? Nowadays, many people live worse than animals on the streets. Refugees have been living in the tent camps for decades, where there are no normal conditions for life. Why is this possible? Doesn't humanity have the means to build houses? Much more funds are used for military spendings, for fighting the proverbial tiny percentage of anthropogenic CO2, or for funding exploration of the dead planet Mars. But why aren't we spending them to the project to protect human life? And the forum again clearly demonstrated why it's so. The consumerist format is the root of all problems. It cannot be left behind. We must eradicate and live in a beautiful, happy, and safe world in the format of creative society. There are many good people in our society who are sincerely trying to address the challenges of our time, to help others, but all of their solutions come from the same consumerist format, which is the root cause of the problems of modern society. The only way out is to change the format of consumerist to creative. There is simply no other option. And while we still have a little more time before climate change reaches its climax, we need to do this. I really liked the words of the speaker from South Africa, Veza Solange, who said that the only reason for evil thriving is that it is sure that no one who is on the side of good will try to do anything. That's why it's important to just do something, to tell everyone about this opportunity to build a creative society that's very close to everyone, and people would like to have it. It's actually an honor to talk about a project like the Creative Society, and now millions of people are doing it. If you, dear friend, have a desire to join the project, join it. Tell your friends, all your loved ones, about the project of all humanity, and all of us together will surely bring it.
Thank you for sharing. It's really a lot of very good questions were raised on the forum, and I think that every person should really ask oneself about what is going on in our society, why all these horrible events are happening, and a lot of people just stay silent, and even don't know about these things. And this actually raises another important question that I would like to ask our dear guest, Dr. Jeffrey Long. Can you please share why it is important to be an active member of society, to spread the information that we heard on forum and spread information about creative society?
That's a great question. I hope everybody in the world sees the forum presentation that was given May 7th. It was loaded with information. It was frightening to see the disasters that occur as a result of climate change all around the world. Those disasters literally touch everyone on the planet in one way or another. I know about that. I lived through a hurricane just last year that wrecked my house. Pretty much all the city I lived in was in ruins. It's still not even anywhere close to being rebuilt. So the point is, there are these disasters that occur. These disasters are going to occur at some time or another everywhere on the planet. So that's why the creative society is so important. Certainly, it's frightening. It causes fear to see this video of these disasters. But I think the real emphasis of this group and of the forum is that there's hope. Instead of focusing on the consumerism in our society, we need to focus on the compassion that we all have and that we can share worldwide. That's going to be the solution to climate change. That's going to be the solution to disasters, is doing the best we can to help reach out to other people wherever they are on the planet and let them know we care. Literally, we are people. We want to live, and we want to live well in spite of disasters, in spite of climate change. That's why the Creative Society is so important. Here we are, amazingly, a group of people worldwide. The May 7th Forum translated into 100 different languages. There's hope. We are people. We're all banding together. We're united. We're concerned. And I think that gives us a strong ray of hope for, and strong hope for the future, that we can all work creatively, passionately, intelligently. And I think we're going to be much stronger working together than we would be individually. And I think together we can, my positive, optimistic assessment about the May 7th Forum is that we can make an incredibly positive difference in this world. We can, through the ideas of the Creative Society, as a people united, we can all work together to help deal with the disasters wherever on the world they occur, and other earthly problems. Certainly work together to helpfully reduce consumerism. This has been a huge contributing problem to continuing the problems and the societal ills that we have, and reach out, less consumer-oriented, more compassion-oriented. I think through this idea, through the Creative Society, there's great hope for the future.
Thank you so much, Dr. Long. And I absolutely agree with you. There is a hope and there is the way out. And you're absolutely right. The information was not easy to digest. Sometimes it's like so painful. It's, at least for me, it was like almost on the border of like my ability to tolerate the pain. But I understand that like we definitely would love to show something more positive, something beautiful. We would enjoy to show the nature and all the best human quality. But unfortunately, we need to face reality as it is. And it is, it's better to tell your patient, yes, you have a cancer, stage 3 or even stage 4, but you have a hope. If we do this and that, you will survive. And I would appreciate if doctor would tell something like that instead of saying, oh, it's not that bad. Look at the sky, look at the sunshine. No, we definitely have a chance. But if we see, if we face the reality as it is and understand, then a consumer format, we will not be able to find a cure. In a consumer society, we will die. And what we need to do, we need to act accordingly, the 8 foundation of Creative Society. And our next question, we would like to ask Sandeep. You were our informational partner for the forum. You stand for the humanity. You spread the truth. And we would like to know, what was your motivation to do that?
Thank you, Marina. And thank you, everybody, for tuning in. It's so important that you're tuned in today. You're spending your time listening to us share this. Do go back to the forum. As Dr. Long said, there are some fantastic videos there. They are eye-opening. And I've been associated with the Creative Society for over a year now. And I've been seeing the kind of footage that we have, the kind of dedication of volunteers that we have in this group. And I was compelled to be a part of it. I thought that if not me, if not you, then who? We are the humans. And the Creative Society stands for human life, for human values. So if you haven't already checked out creativesociety.org, do it now. And understand that the power to bring change lies in each one of us. I come from India, and I will quote Gandhi, who's a popular person all over the world. He said, be the change you want to see in the world. I'll repeat that. Be the change you want to see. So if you want to see the world in a non-consumerist format. If you want to see the world having the right priorities, as Marina said, you got a cancer, you talk about the cancer, you don't swat flies. Then you have to know that it is for you to make a little bit of a change in something that you do, or the way you influence people around you, or the things that you think of and say. That's going to bring a change globally. You have the power to do it. Now, as an information partner, I realized I had that power. And so I decided that we've got to take this message across through my websites. I work on a movement called RENEWALism, as was introduced. And RENEWALism strongly supports the objectives of the Creative Society of Al-Aqra. And we are looking at how to bring that change about in each one of you through what we can do together to nudge you in the direction of doing something for yourself. So you can be the change, you can stop consuming things, and you can actually bring the behemoths, the giants of the consumer economy down to their knees. I'll give you a simple example. Something that I was really touched by in the forum was this aspect of clothing, fashion industry. Now, there are many aspects covered in the forum, as my earlier speakers touched upon, but this one particularly touched me because it was about, it's not the fashion industry, which maybe you don't relate with. I don't relate with. You know, I don't wear fancy clothes. I don't wear great hairdos and stuff like that. I'm a simple, straightforward guy. But clothing is a basic human need: food, clothing, and shelter. Now, all animals have food and shelter. That's common. But we are the ones who have a focus on clothing as well. No other animal has that. And that clothing industry, go back to the forum, listen to this, the gravity of this, but I got my t-shirt over here just to illustrate this point to you guys. There's one t-shirt and one jeans, all right? See this, right? You got this. To make this, it takes 1 kilogram of cotton. And you might say, fine, it does take a kilogram of cotton, that's understandable. To produce that 1 kilogram of cotton takes 200,000 liters of water. Now you might wonder, what is 200,000 liters of water? And that was explained in that video. It is what a person would consume in 27 years. We don't have that much of fresh water. Now, does a jeans last 27 years? But this is the footprint that each one of our t-shirts and jeans are making on the planet. Think about that. So I'll just hand over back to you, Marina, and maybe we'll get into more detail of this sometime as we go along.
Thank you so much, Sandeep. Thank you so much for bringing this example about water and how we use the fashion industry and how we use this resource. And again, it's very, very thought-provoking to think about, like, why we, human, do not create the condition in the world in which every single person will have fresh water, will have food, and will have shelter and medical care. It looks so natural to have everything, but for some reason we don't have. The format of our society is not human-friendly, I would say, like that. Thank you so much for emphasizing that.
And exactly, when do we, for example, live in some Western countries, or our viewers, if you look at from some developed countries, you might not see it in your everyday life. And that's actually also important question. So why we are not seeing it? And, you know, like, I also have a question to David. Can you please share what impressed you the most in the forum? especially for those viewers who maybe still not yet seen the forum or don't know anything about these topics. Can you please share what impressed you the most?
Hallo zusammen. Erstmal vielen Dank, dass ich an dieser tollen Diskussion dabei sein darf.
Yes, hello. Hello, everybody. First of all, thank you so much for having me on this great discussion. I can still feel the conference, the forum, which was incredible. And Marina just said it. The impressions that you had, they really touched you. They really shook me.
Im Großen und Ganzen am meisten erschüttert hat, ist
I must say, and what shook me the most on the whole is the fact that our consumer society has driven us into such a big dead end. That we have given away responsibility. And Alex just asked me, for me, as a person from Germany, from an industrialized nation, this awareness is not there at all. The awareness that we Germans, for example, are used to separating waste. We are used to being environmentally conscious. We talk about solutions to help the climate. We talk about the footprint we leave behind. And I was struck by how mendacious this whole discussion is. I would like to join in. One number, it really got under my skin, that basically only 1% of clothing gets recycled. And that we produce so much rubbish that we could wrap the world around 800 times with our clothes. That shocked me. I admired the scientists. There was a scientist from Germany who said, we have to have the courage to think for ourselves again. And that is a statement that I really understood, that we have to get out of this passivity, out of this attitude. Everything will be all right. People have already solved all the problems. We have so much potential. We believe in the good. We believe in the future. Anyone who has seen this forum will see that we cannot do that with this format of society. This society allows so many absurdities that a normal human being, a human being with a heart, a human being with humanity for the other, cannot understand how a world can be so inhuman. And the most important thing is, and the forum shows this, we are people, we want to live. And we humans, we want to be human. Every human being wants to show humanity, wants to live in a peace with other human beings. Only this format, this is what the forum has shown me. This format really drives us into the abyss, because people need courage to think again. So thank you to everyone who participated in this forum. Thanks to all the people who have the courage to say what is the truth. And I also studied geography, and I always felt I used to have the understanding that science is science. When several scientists come together, when they openly and honestly exchange theses, form antithesis, and then also reject thesis and the basis of new findings, move forward and correct decisions. And one last thing, the climate issue, that shocked me. It was confirmed by several speakers that people who tell the truth They want to tell the truth, who simply want to present their scientific work, that these people are not only not hurt, they're being made to live in hell. That's why we need a new format, and I'm very happy that the Creative Society also offers these partnerships, that people are coming together and finally start looking for solutions for people, like reasonable people, like decent scientists. That's why I have a great hope that the Creative Society will form the basis of this. And yes, I can only ask everybody to watch this forum, to form their own opinion. That is very important. Everybody has to form an opinion for themselves. And so, thank you very much for this wonderful forum, which was not easy, but life-saving.
Vielen Dank, David. Thank you, David. And it's really, I would like just to add a bit to this moment, especially this climate gate. It exactly, as for me, it shows what the ugliness of our consumer format is. So there are people who want just to earn money. And as we know in consumers format, and what do we mean by that? That the money are placed on top. And people's life, as we also see in many different examples, from refugees, from selling on market, red market of organs, human's life costs nothing. And that's exactly the two opposite viewing the things, whether you put money on the first place or you put human life on the first place. Of course, for example, if something was destroyed, it can be repaired. Houses can be repaired. Some scientific job can be done if we invest money, but you never return a human life. Once lost, will be never returned. And that's exactly the most important moment, as for me, that clearly shows this ugliness, that there are some people who just wanting to earn money and they don't care. Thank you.
Yes, Alexandra, thank you so much for bringing this up. And we also understand right now that we don't have time. We need to change the format, change as fast as possible, because our life depends on either we will unite all our human potential, all our scientific potential, and find the solution to climate, or unfortunately, we will not have a future. And we need to remember that every day of our inaction in the consumerist format entails missed opportunities and loss of human lives. But at the same time, every day in active informing about the creative society, this is the chance for saving people's life and chance for the survival of our entire civilization. And we also need to understand that right now, mass media, the world famous mass media, will not show this forum, will not spread the information about creative society. Everything depends on us, on our action. And that's why I would like to ask Sandeep. Sandeep, what do you think each of us needs to do in order to spread information about forum?
Thank you. Very important and very significant question that is. Each of us can understand what it is that human life is about. You see, we somehow have got into this state of being where we undervalue ourselves. We just make ourselves willingly a cog in a system that's not serving us. It is the bitter truth. It is the reality of today. And so we've got to work on understanding that all that we have, all that we buy, all that we use the intent of that is to serve us. We are not the ones serving it. Very often we find that we are in a debt trap where we are working day and night to make a car company richer or pay off some other bills, mortgages. Now, this has to end, because this is what the consumer format is. We have been pushed and over centuries shaped into being a cog in the wheel, a part of a system that does not value our own self-esteem. And nobody else is going to value us, you and me, unless we start by valuing ourselves. So how do we value ourselves? How do we get started with being the change? It begins with the way that we get aware of our situation. And that without going into long words like mindfulness and consciousness, all I'm saying is that if each one of us can just be aware of the cause and effect of whatever we do during our days and start asking why. Why do I do that? Why do I, let's say, going back to the t-shirt, why do I have 15 t-shirts in my closet? Why do I buy so many? The last 2 years of the pandemic have shown us that we don't need so many clothes. In fact, there are so many clothes, especially trousers, which I haven't worn for years. But we still keep feeling compelled to buy. So it's our own habit. That consumption is our habit. And if we can make a conscious tweak, the forum talked about plastics, landfills. I'd just urge you to think of renewing your mindset about the time that you go out of your house. There's one thing that you always carry when you go out, and that's your cell phone. It's just become a habit. What I'd urge you to do is attach a bag to the cell phone. All right, put the cell phone in the bag, so the bag has to go with you. Now what's going to happen is that when you impulsively, compulsively buy something on the way, you would have your own bag to put it in. Let's say you buy a kilogram of oranges. So you're not taking another bag from the shop. That's 2 pieces of plastic being reduced by maybe 1 billion people. That's 2 billion bags, maybe on a daily basis. Think about it. It's a lot of bags. Because we do go out, we do shop. And if you are planning to really go shopping for stuff that you know that you have to buy, make sure you take the crates, you take the cartons, you take whatever, because you've already got them in your house. Let's not expect that from the shop, because you are then perpetuating that trap of making more, creating more garbage, and polluting the planet more and more. So it's small things. If you just ask, why do I do that? Why do I have these shirts? Why do I carry these bags? And introspect on each one of these little habits, you'll find solutions. What do you think?
Yeah, consumer format is so ridiculous. On one side, we understand that we don't need to produce more. But at the same time, our economy depends on this mass production. And here we have a very difficult situation. If we will stop producing, our economy will collapse. But if we will continue to producing, our ecology will collapse. So if we will not change the format, we will die anyway. Either we will die of hunger because of the economical crisis, or we will die from the ecological crisis. So that's what we need to understand. Doesn't matter what we do in a consumer format, that will not help us at all. That will be another tool of manipulating of our attention, our money, redirecting our attention, but will not help us. But if we will choose altogether to move towards creative society, we definitely will be able to find solution to fix all our problems with ecology, and definitely our economy will work accordingly all natural laws, and definitely we will not harm the nature because we understand why we will harm the place where we live. That's so ridiculous. We definitely need to build creative society as soon as possible.
Yes, absolutely. We as humans, as humanity, need to understand that we need to really to live in a symbiosis with our planet. And this symbiosis can only be implemented in the creative society. And exactly right now, it's very important to spread this message about the forum, spread this information that you have heard. And I have a question to Dr. Long. Can you please share what impressed you the most? Can you express why other people, maybe who have not yet seen the forum or even haven't heard about the creative society, why they should do that? Why it's this very important and crucial exactly right now?
That is such a great and critical question. And I really appreciate you asking that. I think the creative society, what we saw on the forum on May 7th and continuing the discussion today here is certainly frightening in some ways. I mean, the climate, the economy, the consumerist society has led to huge, huge problems globally. It's everywhere, and it affects all of us every day, even though it may not be obvious to us. So I think now more than ever, there's that huge light of optimism coming from the fact that we all got together on the forum, translated into 100 different languages. We're continuing to talk about that. Here are people reaching out. Instead of focusing on consumerism, we're focusing on compassion. How can we help other people? How can we change the world positively? And the creative society is, in my opinion, the best way to deal with this. Pulling away from the consumerism, pulling away from focus on individual wealth, and being more concerned expressing the value of love, of compassion, of reaching out, not just to ourselves, keeping ourselves healthy and informed, but helping to reach out to the world to keep them healthy, informed, dealing with crises, and helping each other to the best way that we can. This world has had problems in the past. It's going to continue to have problems in the future. But I'm optimistic that the creative society and the values that are expressed there, reducing consumerism, increasing compassion, working together, working globally together, I think we can have tomorrow be a much better day than the days that have been in the past, where we see the disasters, where we see the ravages of consumerism. And I'm optimistic. And I think this very forum, this very talk we're giving today, helping people to understand that they each individually can be a part of the solution through the creative society, I think that's a very important step. And I'm certainly happy to be a part of it.
Thank you, Dr. Long. We're also happy that you are with us in one big international team. Thank you so much for your effort. And I know that Rinat, also as an active participant of Creative Society in Kazakhstan, and I know that your team did a lot of good thing about informing people in your country. Could you please share with our viewers?
Thank you, Marina. it was a very positive and very valuable experience for us. What can we say? The changes in society happen because of people's demand for certain changes. When we conducted interviews and asked what kind of society people want to live in, everyone said that they want to live in a society of kindness, peace, creation, honesty, where there are honest and deeply decent relationships. And that is almost every person. He says that this is the kind of society he wants to live in. And when we were thinking with the team how we could strengthen this awareness, because if people do not know about such an idea, a wonderful idea as a creative society, how can we build such a society? So we decided to inform the executive authorities, inform politicians, and inform the media. We wrote letters to all levels of the executive. We wrote to politicians, to parties. We wrote to newspapers and TV channels, to the radio. And what I want to say is that people were very enthusiastic about this information. We have received a huge number of letters with positive feedback that this is very close to them too. And some newspapers have placed information about the 8 bases of the creative society, 8 foundations, on the pages of their newspaper. The executive and the executive authorities have offered to help in placing this information on their informational resources, and we were very grateful to them. And a great joy for us was also the fact that the president of our country, said that Kazakhstan is taking a new course, the new creative Kazakhstan. And this word came up very often. I mean, in the media resources of our country, a creative course of development. This can't help but rejoice. And we are very pleased to see the changes that are taking place in our country. Our president says that not a person for the state, but the state for the person. And it is very glad to see exactly this kind of change when it happens in your country. It happens all over the world. And I want to live and do more to create in order for this society to be realized on our planet. Why do I want to? I have children, my friends, a huge number of children. We can see every day that many of us have children. I want them to live in a beautiful world, in a good world, where they don't have the problems that they have now. I mean, problems of hunger, problems of thirst, refugees, certain military conflicts. For them to go out to be surrounded by friends, that they develop and live with a smile, happiness, and their hearts and faces shine with kindness and joy. This is a very powerful motivator for action. Exactly, so that we can leave such a world to our descendants, children, grandchildren, and so on. And when we will look into their faces, into their eyes, so that our conscience is at peace and we can tell ourselves that we have done what we could do. And thanks to the efforts of millions of people who are now actively working to build a creative society, that beautiful change in our world is happening. And I hope that they will intensify, because the forum clearly showed that our common enemy, the climate, leaves no room for reflection. And we hardly have time anymore. And so when difficult situations arise at work, we cannot solve them alone. What do? We all get together with our colleagues and almost always a solution is found. Similarly, here we unite all countries, all scientific potential of all mankind. We will definitely find a solution to our common enemy, the climate, and we will find a way out of the situation we are in now. And yet, this forum, it gives us the answer 100% to what we need to do to build a creative society and move into a happy future for all of us. Thank you.
Thank you, Rinat. Thank you very much. And this example that was shown in the forum, in the last part of the forum, really, really inspiring, because you see how actions of people have been implemented, how actions of everyone is implemented. And that's really raise a question to David, how it's really important not to sit but to act. Can you please share your motivation to spreading this information and maybe what your message to the people?
Yes, I want to say thank you very much, Rinat. Such words are motivation. Working with people like that is motivation for me. And thank you very much. Because I'm also a family man. The forum has shown me continuing as before will not work. I used to think, well, it will all work out. It will be fine. We are so many inventors. We have so much potential. We have such great scientists. And the belief that we can change the world, I had that for a long time. But I realized that the consumer society, the society we live in, is fooling us. So all the scientific potential that is there is not directed in the right direction. And I just, when we were talking about this, I would like to come back again. Yes, to consumerism. That is the thing that so characterizes us, which is completely sick. And I think that we have to recognize that. And that is a great opportunity for everyone. New professions will also emerge. Science will be oriented towards people. And one kind of motivation is that for people, if they can do something for people, when they do research for people, when they develop products that help people. And so we can get all that. We can't sit and wait and hope because the format has blocked the path. So it's a dead end. There is no ways through it. And the important thing is that everybody gets the awareness and starts with themselves. We have just heard that. There are so many little things you can do just to go through life consciously. And the creative society has also given me a direction for the first time. Direction to move on together with people, with a goal. I am particularly struck by this when we think about how many great people there are, how much volunteering is there, how much people want to do something, and how great the willingness to help is. So you see that again and again, that people support each other. The only problem is that the framework conditions do not support this, but that people act themselves. Whether it was the flood disaster in Germany last year, the willingness to help is enormous among each other. And to answer your question, why everyone has to become active, because we have abdicated responsibility for far too long. When we people take actions ourselves to build our future together, then such a huge potential is released. That's what was said during the forum. How much money do we have? And there is so much money that you can actually help everybody. And yeah, so there's lots of money, and we could just distribute all the products, all the resources evenly. So it's not like we don't know, that, and that there is nothing there. Actually, everything is there. What is missing is the common direction. And I think we have to explain to people why the creative society is the way out. Maybe not all people understand it because it is so new, and because it also fundamentally brings a completely new direction. So the orientation toward the human being. Yes, my hope is simply people to want it. You hear that in the surveys. Everybody wants that. 99% would like to live in such a world. So why don't we do it? It's all there, and we have to tell people about it. And everybody will have to advantage. Every human being will have advantages in the creative society. Every person, not certain groups, every person. And that's why we have to address every person as well. That's the big motivation that the forum and creative society gives me. And of course, that there is such great people working together.
Thank you so much, David. Thank you so much for reminding us one more time that we need to reach every single person on earth and really find the way to open our hearts to the people around the world, so they hear, they see the information about the creative society. And I really like what Leslie said, that now our weapon is the word. There is nothing stronger than words, and all wars begin and end with words. Our words can destroy, divide, and kill, but at the same time, our words, they also can create, unite, and save. And right now, it's time for all of us to realize the power of our words, the power of the message that we're spreading in the world right now, and really find the way that every single person on earth will be able to watch the forum and understand that we right now have only one solution, and this is a creative society. Dear guest, I would like to express my deepest gratitude to each of you for being with us today, for sharing your understanding, your insight, and motivate all our viewers to act accordingly, their inner potential, and to help our humanity to survive.
Yes, really, thank you so much. It's very important to be an example, because like really a good example really inspires, and heroes of our current situation are those people who are not silent, who understand the importance of the message, importance of an urgent situation that we are in right now. And the spreading information is really simple. Spreading information about creative society is just explaining what exactly is happening in our world and how it can be solved in creative society. With simple examples, when you really understand that it's not actually a problem to give food to all the people and nobody will die. It's not a problem to use our current technologies to provide water to people who doesn't have it. And we have everything. We as humanity have everything. It's only just depends on us how fast this message will be spreaded and how fast we'll move from our information stage when we explain to people about creative society, to electoral stage, when we are together, united, the whole humanity will say yes to creative society, will tell the politicians to take this direction of living, just change it from inhumane from consumer one. Stop consuming each other and start living in a peaceful world without wars, without all this horror and slavery, but just as humanity should live. That's exactly what inspires all of us already now to act. And dear viewers, thank you for being with us today. And we wanted to invite you once again to watch the International Forum that was on the May 7th, Global Crisis, Where People, We Want to Live. And it's really unprecedented event that tells these shocking truths about our society, describe this complex situation in which we find ourselves right now, and this simple way out, create a society. And we would love to hear your opinions, your feedback, and your questions, which you can send to any of our social media accounts. And also you can contact us via email at info@creativesociety.com. Also, I would like to tell that we will hold similar international discussions every day, so you can watch us tomorrow. So thank you for being with us, dear guests, dear viewers. Goodbye.